And more importantly, it really shrinks private property rights, and that's, I think, the biggest issue here. Do we not own what we own? Because if you can't sell what you own, then you don't really own it. Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. Welcome to the cabin. I have an interesting topic today. I got a cease and desist letter. First time I've ever got one of those, and I'm going to talk about that, the ins and outs of it, everything we've been talking about. Jess is actually here today, and she's loading up the next Whatnot show. We've been selling a lot of Dibdit as well, and our sales are down just a tick on eBay, but it's a good thing, and I'm going to explain it to you here in just a second. Because the number of sales are down. However, the dollar amount is up, which is really what the goal was all along here. And it's pretty good. This is probably the highest ASP day I've had in a very, very long time. We had a really high dollar item thing, at least for me, sell today. And I can't wait to show you that. And all this other stuff that has sold as well. Let's take a look. So I always have a lot of folks that complain that I don't get to the topic. So I would normally say something like this show is really about what's sold on eBay, but today I'm going to get right to the topic. I'm going to pick one item, we're going to get to the topic, and then talk about it throughout the whole video, or at least most of the video today, because as many of you know, I'm passionate about this stuff. I think there are some serious issues and serious threats to minimizing the ability for us to resell in different ways. And I've talked about that before, but I'm going to read this letter that I got. And I got it off of, believe it or not, Bonanza. Where is this? Here it is right here. I knew it was here. The Sonic Hedgehog. I've been waiting for a while. This is a pretty popular one right here, and it goes for decent money. This Hedgehog, Sonic right here, went for $25. $24.95 plus shipping. Actually, I just looked, it went for $25.99 plus shipping. So let me see. I don't think, no, I was not a viewer. Haven't had as many viewer sales lately, and I think we have a couple today. Like I said, only 14 sales in 2 days. That's 7 a day. That's way down from where we're at. But the sales for today are over $1,200, so really high ASP right here. All right, here it is. I got this email from Bonanza of all places, but it doesn't really matter where it's from to me. Actually, it matters in one case here in just a second. But I got a cease and desist letter. So here we go. The items in your booth associated with this brand. It came, by the way, from Bonanza. It did not come from New Era, which is what this says here. In your booth associated with this brand, New Era Cap Company, Inc., are protected by copyright trademark. And the owners prohibit these items from being sold without their permission. A cease and desist notification was received on, they give the date, and Bonanza is legally bound to remove all infringing items. We have removed the following items from Bonanza. If you wish to list the content again, we will need you to receive a retraction of the complaint from the brand owner. Their contract information can be found at the bottom of this message. And then they go and list 4 different hats that were removed. And when I got this, I was a little bit incensed because this stuff kind of ticks me off. My original thought process on this was, you know, first sale doctrine, we have the right to resell this stuff, period. We have the right to resell it. And as, you know, you've heard other companies, I've talked about this stuff before. In my opinion, they have no right whatsoever to keep us from selling their products. Now, what they've done a lot of times, and they try to do, and I don't even think this is right. It needs to be litigated further, in my opinion, because the first sale doctrine is almost meaningless if you can resell an item, but you can't describe it as what it is. Meaning, if New Era or 5950 or whatever it is that they have that's trademarked, you can't use that trademarked word in the title, then what's the point? Because you're not going to be able to market it very well. And that's what I thought was going on here, and it still may be what's going on here, but then I dug in because I don't like to pop off and not know what the heck I'm talking about, and there's a few little details to this that might change it just a little bit. All right, here is the next sale, and we're going to get right back to this topic here, and I'm going to read the rest of the letter. This is a, no. There you go, leave you alone for a minute. David Ortiz, not that Big Poppy David Ortiz, Velvet Painting. I picked this up for $2 at a sale, and there's a bigger one, and I already sold one as well, and they were $2. I'm like, I don't care how hard it is to ship. I'm picking this thing up. It's not that hard to ship. and I've had the box for a while. So that is an awesome, awesome little velvet. You know, some of these go pretty good money. You got to be careful though, because they aren't easy. They're not framed. There's no glass. But you know what? 95 bucks for that thing, 94 something, plus change, plus shipping for that, for a $2 purchase. Definitely worth it, and it's signed as well. Now, as many of you know, I love to sell hats. I love to sell New Era hats, and I have a ton of them. I'd say half of these hats in here are New Era hats. This is here as well. There's a bunch in there. There's a few more back there that are. And what got removed was this right here. Actually, I take it back. This one did not get removed, and this one did get removed. So what I initially thought was, you know, hey, this company is saying I can't sell this item because I'm using, I mean, look at the language here. So it says the items in your booth associated with New Era brand are protected by copyright trademark, and the owners prohibit these items from being sold without their permission. So, you know, in a cease and desist letter. That's ridiculous to me. Now, I could be wrong, so I'm not trying to slander anybody out there, but think about that for a second. If this is allowed to stand, if that's the intent of this, and I'm going to talk about what might have been the intent of this, Pepper. I got to watch this cat. If that's the intent of this, to say to people, hey, you can't sell our items because you're using New Era or 5950 in the title, I'm sure that's trademarked as well, then, you know, it would be tantamount to saying, yes, you just spent $50,000 on a Chevrolet truck 5 years ago, and now that you're trying to resell it, when you go to list that item, you can't use Chevrolet in the title. That's absolutely absurd, and nobody would stand for that. But that's the way that this thing is couched in that kind of language. Now, I'm not 100% certain that's what they're doing here, but that's what they're implying here, and I have an issue with that. I've always had an issue with that. Like, do you remember the Harley thing with me where my account got suspended and all that stuff? And I'm not even sure that's why it did, but nonetheless, I think I was shut down for 3 days for that one. That one I completely get. That was like a mistake, sort of-ish. I can at least understand it, right? It was a Harley-Davidson patch, legitimate Harley-Davidson patch with all kinds of other patches on a jacket that wasn't Harley. And I listed it, you know, jacket with a Harley patch. And I can kind of get that, right? Not using somebody else's brand, their trademark name in order to sell something that isn't their product. Okay, that's definitely understandable. And there's a legal defense for that. That's not what I'm arguing here. This sounds like they're saying, hey, you can't sell New Era hats because you're using New Era in the title. And that, to me, goes against everything that I've ever read about the for sale doctrine and all those other things. And to me, this can't be allowed to be common practice. And these sites, Bonanza, I've had this beef with eBay before. Now, this stuff didn't get taken down off of eBay. So maybe, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that eBay is starting to counteract some of these people who are making these claims. I haven't heard this stuff on eBay for a while. It happens from time to time, but not as much as it did, say, a year ago or 2 years ago. I mean, there you go. Get out of here. I sell, I say that lovingly, I sell a bunch of hats, but I know people who sell nothing but hats. And can you imagine if this was able to stand on all platforms, New Era saying, no, nobody can sell anything that's New Era. You know, then what the heck is private property? Do I not own it? Can I not sell it? I think that's just craziness. But I'm going to leave a little bit of wiggle room here and hope that the case is that they're saying that these hats, this is a little ironic, these hats might not be legitimate, and so we're taking them down. I have no problem with that if they're correct. And I don't think they are correct, but I mean, look, why take this one down and not this one? I got it from the same person, same place. I mean, look at this. Right? It's possible. It's fake, but daggone if it is an amazing fake. And it has all the right stuff on it. So this one's fake, but this one isn't? I mean, come on. So there's a couple of my issues. Now, this print I never saw before. I've never seen that print before. That doesn't mean it's fake, necessarily. I'm not saying it is. I actually don't think it is. But, you know, it's a possibility. And I'd almost hope that this has occurred because something here is fake. There's just no way, though. I'm sorry. I bought so many of these, like this hat right here, this Giants hat. I bought so many of these from a hat collector, and none of that stuff's been taken down. I've sold tons of it before. I mean, who's faking? I just don't see it. I just don't see it. This is a really nice hat, really, really well done. This is an old vintage wool one from Diamond right here that gets taken. This thing isn't fake, but that's neither here nor there because they never said they were fake. That's not what they said in the message. What they said in the message is you can't sell this stuff because it's our copyright and our trademark. You know, I don't want to get into constitutional law and trademark and stuff because I'm no expert, but I can tell you in this country, you should own the property that you own. And part of being an owner of something is being able to sell something. And if this stuff continues with more and more brands and brands get away with it, then we're all in a whole bunch of trouble because all brands have to say is, yeah, you can sell that thing, but you can't use our trademark word in the title. I can understand if they say you can't use our trademark word in the title if you're selling a fake or if you're selling something that isn't that thing. I get that 100%. But this I don't get. And of course, when this happened to me, it didn't just happen to me. My inbox filled up pretty quick. And a lot of folks who watch the show do sell on Bonanza, and they got the exact same notification. And it was one hat or whatever. I have a bunch, so apparently they hit a few of mine. And like I said, there's no difference in this hat right here than 6 other hats. I've gone through and looked at every single one of them. Franklin Holy Bible, King James Version. These things do okay. And I've sold quite a few of them. This one sold for $19.95 plus shipping. Now here's a little bit more of a twist. For those of you who know about Bonanza, they basically take you, upload stuff to eBay, you load it all the time, and every once in a while it refreshes, it puts everything over on Bonanza. All of it's automated. I only make 3, 4, 5 sales a month over on Bonanza. So it's not the end of the world here, but I'm not gonna, let me read this next part to you. It says, to ensure that your Bonanza account remains in good standing, please do not list items of this brand in the future without permission from the brand owner. This can't be the case. And I've had this conversation with folks on different platforms, and you know, I don't talk to many people. I did appear on the eBay podcast, eBay for Business podcast. I took a lot of heat for doing that, being a sellout or whatever. Whatever. I'll talk to anybody. I'm about protecting reselling for resellers for a long, long time. And to me, there are all kinds of issues people talk about. This is a big issue. And if it continues to go and more brands try this kind of stuff, then, you know, I have no problem with the brand protecting its brand and protecting against counterfeits and all that, but that's not what this is, or at least it's not the language here. Then you start to have issues, especially when we talked about the Informed Consumer and whatever the Shop Safe Act. That thing's even worse. And if any platform out there supports the Shop Safe Act, all they're trying to do is make sure they incur no legal cost, and all of that gets put on the seller without the help of the platform at all, and then they just start booting sellers off instead of having to deal with the litigation. Well, that's no way to keep sellers either. And if sellers have to continue to wonder about every single item, we should all do due diligence to make sure we're not doing anything that we shouldn't be doing knowingly. But, you know, I don't know that it's necessarily something where if something happens, I'm sure I've sold a counterfeit item before. I have no doubt about it. I've sold tens of thousands of items, and I sell thousands and thousands every year. But I do my darndest. Matter of fact, I just got rid of a Burberry bag out there because I just had a few too many questions. Even though I paid $5 for it, I'm like, I'm not going to take a chance on this stuff. I'm not about protecting counterfeiters. I'm about attacking counterfeiters at the source, as opposed to taking a mom and pop business and giving them some punitive action for selling 1 out of 6,000 items that might be fake. You'll have to excuse my passion on this one, but I can't help seeing some of these folks who are having their PayPal accounts frozen and all these things where their livelihood is put at stake, and they're really not doing anything wrong, and certainly not doing anything wrong on purpose. Ilya Kurakin, is that how you pronounce it? The guy at NCIS? I don't know, what does he do? Autopsies or something? I can't remember what he does. Any rate, this guy, he was Man from U.N.C.L.E., and I picked this up along with, this one had another suit on it that sells separately for decent money, and a whole nother figure. I paid up for these 3, but I figured there would be a double up in there for me when it's all said and done. This one sold for $40 plus shipping. Let me continue with this so I don't distract myself. Ranting here. To ensure your Bonanza account remains in good standing, please do not list items of this brand in the future without permission of the brand owner. Continued claims of brand infringement may lead to further action being taken against your account, up to and potentially including suspension from this marketplace. If using the eBay items sync, which I do, you can go to your Selling Import from eBay page and click Edit Listings or Edit Settings, Show More Import Options. From there, link the Sync Your Booth with eBay option and select Wait for My Approval. Using a drop-down menu, all imported items will be reserved in reserve status, and any prohibited items can be removed in bulk from your batch. I'm not doing that, Bonanza. It's not happening. I don't make enough sales over there to spend 20 extra minutes a week. It's not happening. So I'm probably, oh, y'all call me crazy, I'm probably just going to continue it just the way it is. I don't understand it. There is a contact here at the bottom, and I'm going to do that. And I've talked to a few people who've sent me Instagrams, a couple emails, who had this happen too. I encourage them to do that. And I encourage them, for the first time, I was very specific, call your representative. Call your representative. If you're not going to get a response from this company, look, that's all I want, is just tell me what's the deal. If you think these are fake, I'd like to know if that's why it's happening. But that's not what's stated at all. It's saying, no, you just can't use our trademark. To sell something that I own that is that item, that's ridiculous. Well, that can't be. And platforms should be standing up to this. This didn't happen on eBay. This is, I know, a concern for some people over there. The abuse of the Vero system and the abuse to get around it in order to scare people, to pressure people into not putting items up on the secondary market. That's an issue if that's going on. And these platforms should be standing up for us, with us. They should be using us to stand up for these issues. This is one thing, right? It didn't hit a massive amount of people. Not very many people sell Bonanza anyways. And contrary to popular opinion, I don't own Bonanza, no matter what Dave and Kerry tell you. Nor am I the CEO of Bonanza. That's funny and all, but it's not true. If I was, I'd be taking care of this issue, and I think other platforms should be doing this. Platforms should be protecting against counterfeit items the best they possibly can. They should be working with people to make sure that stuff isn't hitting their I'll tell you what, this reminds me of something. I don't know the name of the video right offhand, but a lady bought from the Amazon pallets and sold something, one item that this company said was counterfeit. Well, it was originally sold on Amazon. So, there should be some accountability to these big platforms, as well as to the abusive sellers who do this on purpose over time. And I don't have all the answers, and I don't even understand everything, and that's part of the issue here. There needs to be clarity on this. But it seems to me a platform like this is just like, let's just do it this way, and we won't have to deal with it. Eventually, if more and more companies do this, it shrinks what we can buy and resell. And more importantly, it really shrinks private property rights. And that's, I think, the biggest issue here. Do we not own what we own? Because if you can't sell what you own, then you don't really own it. Half of me wants to see a bunch of these cases go to court and be litigated so they would end. At least I would hope they would end. I mean, think of the ramifications of, like I said with the Chevrolet truck. Oh yeah, you can only list that thing as a green pickup truck. Start using adjectives, but you can't call it a Chevrolet even though it's a Chevrolet. Ridiculous. All right, here's an example of a guy that wanted to sell stuff so badly that he was begging to take stuff. He was like, this is worth a lot of money. Look it up. I'll give it to you for $15. I'm like, okay. And I bought it without looking it up because he was so good. Brought it home, and he was right. This thing, $15 into $399 plus shipping. It's a fire shelter. And I used to live out west, and boy, they used to talk about these all the time. And it's undeployed, and it would, if you have a fire coming through, you can create the shelter really quick and hopefully survive what could be catastrophic. So hopefully this is going somewhere good. I know it's a discount off of a new item, but it is new. It hadn't been used, and I made a bunch of money on it, so that's really awesome. This is an awesome vintage, well, yeah, I suppose it is vintage Darryl Green. It was probably, 2002. Darryl Green Redskins jersey, Reebok size large. And this one right here is highly sought after because Darryl Green is one of the favorites of the Redskin folks. It's got the old school non-embroidered jersey on it. It's really, really nice. Couple of patches, and it sold for $110 plus shipping. So it says, if you believe that your items have been removed in error, you may contact the brand representative noted below or submit a counter notice directly to the brand. The folks that I've heard do this in the past have said they never get a reply, which would make sense, right? You can find more details on how to do so on the following page, and then it gives you a link. If you have any questions regarding the brand cease and desist notification or like to know more, this brings up a couple of issues here, and it gives you an email address and a website to talk to New Era. Well, okay. Look, I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't have an issue with companies who are legitimately going on there and making sure that there's not a counterfeit market out there to protect their brand. But if the case is that they're trying to use language here that scares people, and effectively, I'm not allowed to list New Era items on Bonanza anymore. Or maybe anywhere, I don't know. And that's ridiculous. I mean, look at how many of them are out there listed. I still have a ton listed on Bonanza. What's to say they're going to, why those and not these? Why some of us and not others who are selling? Why not eBay? Why not, Poshmark and Mercari and District and whatnot and Depop and all this? Is this I'm trying to understand the thought process behind this brand. This cannot be good for your brand. If this is what they're trying to do, keep people from listing an item because they're using the name of the item that is trademarked. That seems like it seems like a failed way to proceed. If they're doing it to protect against counterfeits, then I would like to know how these are counterfeit, but maybe that's not their responsibility. But change the language in the cease and desist. That's my opinion of the matter. So I don't know, maybe, am I crazy? Tell me I'm not the only one who thinks this. Tell me I think this is a big issue. And I think that eBay should be going to bat for us, not just eBay, all these platforms, as opposed to this. I mean, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to list on Bonanza, period, because there's not enough traffic over there to make it worth my while to be going on and making sure that things are, working, at least making sure that there's no New Era cap over there. I'd rather just say forget the whole thing than do that. So I guess we'll see what we're going to do. But I'm telling the folks that have emailed me, that have IG'd me, that I've got to, and I went on and looked through a bunch, and I normally don't, so I can't get back to everybody. But I did look for this in the title or something like that, and I contacted a few people, asked them to contact the company, see if it worked. And tell your representative, tell eBay. This was in the comments in the eBay for Business when I was on their podcast. There's a lot of people that are like, ripping me, to be honest with you. But one thing one person said in there is, hey, I hope eBay listens to your which I was surprised they had me on, because I do criticize every once in a while, but I absolutely love reselling and I love eBay. So whatever, I'll talk to anybody. But one of the people in the comments said, hey, I hope you listen to them about these brands and these different things that are doing this and encroaching on our liberties here to resell. And I think that is an important point. And I hope that they are doing some of those things. And hey, I don't care. I'm sure a lot of us, next time one of these things come up, we'll go up to Washington. It ain't that far of a trip for me. I'll go up there. I'll talk to somebody, or I'll just hold a sign. I don't really care. But something needs to happen over time, because if times get bad for these big brand name companies, this will be one of the low-hanging fruits that they will take advantage to keep competition of their own sold items off of the secondary markets to protect their primary markets. I put a train lot out there on auction because I pulled a lot of trains out, selling them individually. I've done well so far. And I lotted up a big giant, some track and some other stuff out of boxes and just put it all together because I knew it's all pure profit at this point. Put it out there on auction. That one sold for $53 plus shipping. This brings up another little word of warning for folks that follow this stuff like I do. And I have contacted the folks that I have been working with not just this issue right here. And I've been in correspondence with them about this, but about that video I was talking about the other day, where I saw a lady and her PayPal account was frozen and she didn't have access to that money and all that stuff. And so I've sent all that, and they're watching it, and they're paying attention. I don't know if there'll be any movement or anything, but hey, we're doing what we can. This is complete angler. I don't even know what this thing is. Sold at a Cabela store or something. Orvis, that's what it is. And these they're sole replacements, kind of old, but $17.95. plus shipping for some angler sole replacements. But hey, it's always a good idea. Don't leave massive amounts of money in a PayPal account or something and they can freeze it or do whatever. I think that is definitely a good practice for sure, because this stuff happens from time to time. It doesn't happen often, and it probably hasn't happened to most of you. But when it does happen to you, and they didn't do anything here, I get that. But when this stuff does happen to you, you know, guarding against these, in my opinion, ridiculous Schedule A lawsuits and serving through emails and all that stuff, you know, you want to do whatever you can to mitigate it the best you can so it doesn't completely destroy your legitimate business. I think this lady ended up having to pay, in my opinion, extortion, $250 to get her name off of this thing. And, you know, whatever. I think it's ridiculous. So, Diamond Company, I was down there picking. We were at the Trash to Cash meetup down in Orlando, the Orlando Bash, and I was out with my buddy Cameron Bowser. He's got a YouTube channel, does great stuff. And I said, hey, how about this brand? He said, yeah, pick it up. I was like, okay, it was $1. So for $17.95 plus shipping, Diamond Company, Supply Company, size large. I picked up this Schlage keypad lever not too long ago at a country sale. I've been having a lot of success going out off the beaten path and avoiding where some other folks have been going lately. $64.95 for that one. You know, Schlage's trademarked. So you tell me I can't sell a Schlage because I use Schlage in the title? All right, I'll get off my high horse. I got to get the kids out here, get my mind off it. $64.95 plus shipping. Sold another one of these Tamaracks. Well, another. I haven't sold one in a long time, but I've sold a bunch of them in the past. And these tend to do okay. Expedition 5X. And it sold pretty quickly for just under 50, I think. 47.45 plus shipping. We got Boots in here today, y'all. That doesn't happen very often. You being lovey lately, which is not one of her characters. You want something. All right, what's sold got at CommonwealthBigger.com?
Kevin got a Hillbilly and Chris got a number 3.
Awesome. Got a Hillbilly and a number 3. We're down to the nitty gritty on those. And a number 3. Enema Man. See, I didn't use a trademark. It's Eneman is trademarked. Enema Man isn't. I didn't put Fleet on it because that is too. I put CWP. And I changed the colors, the design, the stitching, the embroidery. Same company made it though. Curto Toys made it for me. Anyway, they're over on Commonwealth.
Chris's Volts picker on the eBay store.
What's it? What is it called?
VOLS picker.
Vols, like the Tennessee Volunteers. Vols Picker. That's his eBay store. Pickers?
Yes.
Okay. And he bought
the number 3.
The number 3. Actually, I think he might have got that over. Did he get that on what? Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Reagan.
Bye, and don't forget to get your stickers at CommonwealthBigger.com.
Sold some Rio Tree camo right here. Picked these up in that crazy good deal. And there's some stuff. Oh my goodness. You got a joke for us today, bud? You got a Mike Trout shirt? These are in excellent condition. These sold for $24.95 plus shipping. All right, bud, what's your Commonwealth comedy for the day?
Why can't football players wear glasses?
Why can't football players wear glasses? I don't know.
Because it's a contact sport.
I love it. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, I know I talked about that a lot today, and we only had, you know, like I said, 14 sales, but for $1,200, there were some really, really good ones in that batch. Of course, that number is the gross number. It includes shipping and all that stuff, so make sure everybody knows that. But still, working off that number is still pretty good because our margins are insane, especially that $400 item that we paid $15 for. And I would not have found that item. It was sitting on a faraway table, and that guy found it for me. I swear that item should be in... Oh, here it is, right here. Here it is. I knew it. This is a low dollar one. This is a $13. $12.99 for this one. Free shipping. This one's been in there forever. And it finally sold, our lowest priced item of the day. And really, really good day. You don't even have to ship a bunch, but it's a ton of decent price stuff. Average sales price is really high, mostly due to that one item, of course. It's been a while since we've sold some AT stuff, and we sold 5 total. We sold one of these out of the Klondike bin there. And those are a really cool little E-Team Drag pennant necklace. And we sold, let's see if I can remember here. I gotta cheat with the screen. So another one of those pins right here. Man, I need a vacuum in here. It's dirty. And we sold 2 of these right here. 2 of these. I think that's right. Maybe 3 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we sold 3 of these pins right here. All of it going out for $37.95 plus shipping. And we'll combine the shipping on that. What do I do with the other thing? Should I put it over here? There it is. So those are all going out together. That was the only sale on it with a message today. So thank you. We appreciate it. Paul. Looks like Paul. Hey, Kevin. If you can combine shipping on these, that would be cool for sure. This is for my 17-year-old daughter who loves E.T. And a pin for me because I introduced her to it. There you go. I tell you what, I love that. Turner loves the Goonies. And he loves E.T. And I remember my dad doing that when I was a kid with certain things, and I definitely enjoyed things that he enjoyed. You know, you don't push that too much on your kids because some of it's like, eh. But sometimes the good stuff stays good for a long time. And that's true of a lot of stuff, including E.T. Turner liked E.T. as well. Been a viewer for a while, but a silent one. But at some point, I'd like to tell you my story. I think you'd find it interesting. You seem sincere and genuine. Anyways, don't let the naysayers or haters wear on you. So remember, anyone can make someone unhappy. That's easy, but it takes someone to make someone smile. Anyway, I got it. I like it, Paul. Paul, I appreciate it. It's Uncle Paul's Finds. I love using all my uncles. Uncle Paul, I have an Uncle Paul. Of course, Uncle Steve Picker and Uncle Dave and Uncle John and Uncle all of them. Uncle Mark's garage sale we did. Who did I leave out? I don't want to make anybody mad. Uncle Dave. So, and my dad, of course, Pop. So I just love doing that. And a few of them are pickers as well. 1, 2, 3 at least. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. As always, I've got a lot of thanks to give out for all the great shows we've been doing on dibdit.com and over there on District. We did knickknacks and all kinds of stuff we've been doing. And so many people have been so helpful to us. And it's really made Jess feel at home as well. Kind of doing that side of the business. Some folks have even sent her some messages about some possibilities for some buyouts. So jess.commonwealthpicker@gmail.com if you want to contact her. I still look at my email, but it's been overwhelming for quite some time, and I can't quite get to everything. But again, a big thank you to everybody out there for all the support you always give me and to my family. Got a couple announcements coming up here in the next few days. I'm headed out to this shed because I got to get a little bit of work done before I take Turner to practice. And I got about 20 minutes to get it done get a bunch of pictures for some listings. And I'm excited to take them to practice as always. And I'm excited to bring these videos to you. I'm glad you guys still enjoy them. And I appreciate you stopping by. And I can't wait to see you next time. Hey, I'm filming this after the fact. I'm doing some shipping in here. And I've got all this done already. But I just want to point out a couple things. I did that picture calculated shipping. And I've made a profit on the shipping, which is good because it took me 13 minutes to do that. I did this flat rate shipping. I think I made like $9 profit on that one, doing calculated, or 11 actually. And this one right here, I made this was the $9 profit on this. I did $15.99. 15, not quite. So $15.99 flat rate shipping because it was a big box. It's heavy, 14 some pounds. And it's not a huge box, but this one I did $15.99 shipping on, and it is only costing me Ground Advantage $6.66. Bad number, but hey, we get the point because it's going to Virginia. All right, bud, what's your Commonwealth comedy for today?
Okay, why can't football players? Shoot, I forgot. Start.